Though no one in Washington is telling you, Americans have been getting poorer and poorer since the late 1970s. The reasons are that global oil discovery peaked in 1962, American oil production peaked in 1970, and our population keeps rising. Only 3 tactics can mitigate this ongoing process. Number 1. Take energy resources by military force. We did this in Iraq. Number 2. Give up America's unique style of dog-eat-dog capitalism in favor of a new political system. This was Hubbard's recommendation. Number 3. Reduce population at least as fast as available energy resources fall. This may be effective if we stop all immigration, deport as many illegal aliens as possible, and do everything possible to discourage births. Americans waste more natural resources than any other people in the history of the world. Although we are the same animal that evolved to need 3,000 or 4,000 calories a day, the average American uses over 200,000 calories of total energy a day. The following slides will explain why Americans have been getting poorer and poorer since the late 1970s, and why conservation, efficiency, and alternatives cannot solve the problem. The Earth is a sphere. All spheres are finite. Therefore, the Earth is finite. The Earth's energy resources are finite too. Finite stocks such as oil, coal, and uranium, and finite flows such as wind and solar. It is physically impossible to increase these finite resources. We mine minerals and fossil fuels from the Earth's crust. The deeper we dig, the greater the energy requirements. The most concentrated and most accessible resources are produced first. Thereafter, more and more energy is required to produce poorer and poorer quality resources. This means that energy companies must spend more energy tomorrow to produce the same amount of energy as they did today. As time goes on, a larger and larger fraction of the energy produced must be reinvested in energy production to keep the same level of energy available for consumer goods and services. Available natural resources are declining, but the population of the United States continues to rise. This means that fewer and fewer natural resources are available for each American citizen. It's impossible to increase the amount of natural resources on our finite planet, but if population numbers fall faster than available energy, then each may have a greater portion of what's left. Prior to peak oil, as the fraction of energy available for consumer goods declined, energy companies compensated by increasing the total amount of energy produced. Once peak oil occurs, energy companies can no longer increase the total amount of energy production, and different tactics must be used to mitigate the declining fraction. What about conservation? Under a system of dog-eat-dog capitalism, it doesn't help. Energy saved by conservation and efficiency is simply consumed by the increasing consumption of consumer goods and services. What about alternatives? A 1991 American study found that, if a conversion to alternatives were possible, it could require up to 70% of all available energy in 20 years to make the conversion. This study was done almost 20 years ago. To make the conversion today would require an even greater fraction of available energy and even longer than 20 years. Would a 70% reduction in available energy mean a 70% reduction in jobs, a 70% reduction in small businesses, a 70% reduction in medical care, and a 70% reduction in food? Energy tactics will change when global oil production peaks and begins its inevitable decline, because it will become physically impossible for energy companies to increase total production. This means that the global amount of energy available for consumer goods will fall, year after year, for decades. Once global oil production begins its inevitable decline, Americans can increase their fraction of the remaining resources by war, and can mitigate the local decline by reorganizing politically and reducing population. Every day, more and more Americans need to consume more and more natural resources. Where can we get the energy we need? Universal energy laws have been making Americans poorer and poorer since the late 1970s. These laws could not be repealed. Only 3 tactics can mitigate this ongoing process. Number 1. Take energy resources by military force. We did this in Iraq. Number 2. Gradually move away from a political system which encourages the depletion of natural resources, and towards something like Hubbart's, or my vision for a sustainable society. The first step would be to guarantee every citizen the right to live well, without working. Number 3. Reduce population at least as fast as available energy resources fall. If we cannot overcome energy laws, where are we going to find the natural resources that capitalism needs? War is not the only answer.